Welcome to MikeJoeSoft, folks. I'm Joey Mason.
And I'm Mike Fenton.
Mike,
Yo.
I just saw you yesterday.
You did?
You
saw me earlier today, technically.
I did also see you earlier today because we hung out.
In fact, you didn't see me yesterday at all because you showed up at 12:30 a.m.
Oh, shit. You got me in a logic loop.
Wrecked.
Damn.
R-E-K-T.
R-E-K-T, size 72, Control-B, Control-U. So
Yep.
Microsoft Word jokes right there.
Oh.
But, Mike, you know why I was at your house?
I do, but before we get into that, Joey, I think there's one thing we need to do.
What's that?
To kick this podcast off right.
Oh, shoot! I almost forgot!
We came up with a kind of an opening segment last time to get us both warmed up.
Yep.
And for those of you who didn't listen to the last podcast, which if that's the case, then shame on you, go listen to it. That is the, what I'm calling the, what are we doing?
Called the,
It's called the, no, it's called the Ultimate Improv Exercise.
Shit.
I'm calling it this because the point of the exercise is that I have a random word generator up, and when I generate the random words, either Joey or I will take that word and use it as the basis for an Ultimate Warrior-esque insane promo. So, Joey, I've just got one question for you.
Yeah?
Do you want to go first or second?
You went first last time. I'll go first this time.
Okay. Your word is horsepower.
Oh, dude. Alright. So I got horsepower. What is horsepower about? It's about pulling things. It's in cars. It's originally from horses.
That sounds very much like the Ultimate Warrior right now.
Well, I know that. It's not like he shows up on the screen at, like, was it like WrestleMania 6, and he's just like, Hulk Hogan. I'm gonna knock out the pilot, Hulk Hogan. Alright. Here we go. Horsepower. Because he's like snarls like that, you know?
It's like you know, the skronk.
Yeah, he's like... You see me, Hulk Hogan. I see the fear in your eyes, Hulk Hogan. You turn and run into your car, Hulk Hogan. You drive away, but I run faster. Your horses are slower than... Oh, shit. The speed of the warrior. As I run, I grab the rear bumper, Hulk Hogan. You try to speed, but your horses fail you. Your horses are weak. Your horses are malnourished. I remove the vehicle. I climb up the back. I break through the window, and then I take you, and screen goes black. Hulk Hogan. Credits. How about that? Not bad for a second one, especially after going first.
It's not. You did good. Good job, Joey.
I tried. What's your word?
Projection.
Projection.
You know what? I think we're going a little bit overboard with constantly doing the Hulk Hogan. I know it's what he's known for, but you do a promo against another wrestler.
All right.
Like, say, SummerSlam, when he was going up against Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, shit. He's going against Macho Madness.
Macho Man. I'm going to come into the office building. I'm going to go up to your office. I'm sounding like Macho Man, damn it. Hold on. Gotta get actual Ultimate Warrior.
So I feel like Ultimate Warrior is more like guttural, whereas
Yes.
Macho Man's in the throat.
Okay. I'm going to come up to the office. I am going to bring the projector, and I will show you this quarter's projection, Macho Man. Your sales are down 3.5%. That is unacceptable. What will you do, Macho Man, when the corporate comes down and they lay the smackdown on you? Will you go and get the food stamps? Will you go to your wife and children and say, I have been laid off? Will you go and say, I have been downgraded a pay grade? Macho Man.
Dude, good. Because projection has a lot of definitions. You know what I thought you were going to do? You're going to do something like projecting your feelings onto somebody else. You know.
I got My last word was emotional, so I couldn't, bust out the Nicholas Sparks again.
Oh, gotcha. Well, there you go, dude.
What will you do when the two attractive white people can't get together, Hulk Hogan?
I like it. Well, there we go. Now we're warmed up with some ultimate improv exercise.
That's right. But Joey,
what's up?
As to your earlier question, I believe you were at my house because you had been nearby at a concert.
Yes, and not only that, but I heard you guys had a Taco John's, and I was like, oh, yes. But then I'm like...
potato olays.
Oh, potato olays? I love them. But then I'm like, oh, yeah, there's also a concert, so I'll be there, too. So, check this.
One of my favorite bands ever is going to be nearby.
So, I went to Mojo's in Joliet, and I saw Sonata Arctica, and the two bands that were opening was Xandria and Delane. Now, I don't know much about Xandria and Delane, but Sonata Arctica I've idolized since I was like 14 years old. I was a freshman. Check this out. I was a freshman in high school when I got on my LimeWire and illegally downloaded a couple of power metal tunes.
Joey, what if the police listen to this?
Well, the police can also tell you. Well, I can also tell the police that this is legitimate because I bought all of the albums and I got rid of the pirated music. So, I have it. I have the files. I even have the CDs. They're scratched to hell, but I have them. So,
Fiddle-dee-dee. Being a pirate is alright with me.
Yeah. So, I bought the albums. Well, I illegally downloaded it. I'm like, oh, this band's good. And then I bought their stuff. So, I don't abuse the system. Didn't abuse it. And this is back in the day when you couldn't, listen to, 30-second snippets. You either had to download all of it or nothing. So, I go there, and I got the VIP package, which means you get a poster, you get an autograph from the band, you can, meet them, and, well, it's the meet and greet. It's super cool. So I show up, an hour before doors open, and the biggest thing that I noticed, well, not the biggest, but the first thing I noticed is how out of touch I have been with my metal roots. Because I thought about it. I haven't been to a concert in 5 years. Not only that, but I've never raised the horns at a concert since I was 19. So, when I waited in line, the dude in front of me was a typical Sasquatch type you see at a metal concert, which, is 6.5 foot tall, 4 foot broad. Kind of smells like burnt cheese. And then behind me were these two old metalheads that basically talked about how much concert cred they had, and where they were just like, "Oh yeah, well, I've seen this band here, this band, this that." They're showing tattoos, and it's essentially like a "my dick is bigger than yours" contest, because they're talking about how many bands they've seen and this and that, and how they're veterans and stuff, but not army veterans, but not military veterans, but concert veterans. But their claim to fame, and I didn't want to laugh at them too much, and this is more of a running gag on getting a VJ with Vinny and I, but one of the guys' claim to fame was he hung out at a bar with Jeff Tate from Queensryche. And don't feel bad if you don't know who that is. So, that was his claim to fame, though. He was just like, yeah, I met him, and I've seen him live dozens of times, and I'm just like, dude, whatever. So, we get inside, wait outside for an hour. I actually get inside, and the guy, the manager dude, is he basically said, okay, here's your posters, they'll sign the posters, and you can get a picture with them. And he's like, but you can't go behind the band. He's like, if you want a picture with the band, you got to stay in front of them. And I'm like, okay, but whatever. It's kind of a stupid rule, but I'm not the one planning the concert, so. And what they didn't tell you is that there is a solid 2 foot table. Well, I'd say 1.5 foot to 2 foot table in between you and the band. So if you want to, So if you want a picture with them, you gotta like kind of like grind up and like lean against the table rather than have it be like take a picture of you and like the dudes in the background. So I'm waiting in line, the band comes out, and like my heart is pumping and I'm like freaking out. I mean, I'm getting super excited and I get up.
I have never been more erect in my life.
Dude, it was like a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, slight arousal, and I didn't know where that emotion come from. But you know, whatever, it happens.
Just roll with it.
Yeah, I'm like, as long as I don't like have my dick out when I get the picture taken, I'll be all right. Well, and I meet the band. Now, my first thought is, oh my god, it's Tony Kakko, lead singer from Stella Arctica, and I'm like, oh, kind of fanboying, geeking out. Second thing that I thought was, oh my god, they're really short. I felt like you for a moment, Mike. Just for a little moment. Because I don't know if you can hear this from here, listeners, but... oh, shit.
But I'm killing Joey with my mind.
That too. And Mike is really freaking tall.
This is true.
So, like, the lead singer is like 5'7", like 5'6". And so I kind of looked at him and I'm just like, hi, how are you? And he's like, I'm very well, thank you. And other thing I noticed too is that I didn't talk like every other metalhead that was in line. Like all of them. Yeah, they had like this, like the unnecessary amounts of zippers on their pants. And like
buckles and basically look like Square Enix characters.
Yeah, like they picked up the Tetsuya Nomura fashion line, and frickin' they have like shirts of bands that aren't playing that night, but to show off their cred, like who they like, whatever. And I was like, "Hi, how are you?" And like all this and that, and I was like, "Can I get a picture with you?" And I remember my voice, cracking when I asked him, because I was that nervous. And he was like, yes, sure, yes. And this case, there's this table, and I'm not a small man, so I'm like leaning back on the table, and it's like a straight kind of like upshot, and it's just like chins, and kind of like, and I'm trying to make a metal face, but it looks like it's kind of looked like a big fat guy got crushed down and like a rat just died on his face. And that's how I looked in the picture. Now, the only thing better than that in that picture was the only thing better than my excitement is in that picture is the
other guy's total lack of excitement.
Is the lead singer's apathy. He looks like he like, okay, so if you look at the picture and you made like a conversation, you look at me and be like, "Oh my god, I love you, man." And then you look at Tony Kalka's face and he's like, "This fat American motherfucker just doesn't know what he's doing." So he didn't.
He came stomping up to him, jiggling at him, eating a cheeseburger.
His voice cracking everywhere. Can I have a picture? But I also like to point out that the girls in front of me, he talked with them about twice as long and was making goofy pictures with them. And then he gets to me and he's just like, I ran out of energy.
And when you told me that last night, I told you what you needed to do.
What was that?
You need to whip out your titties.
I should have worn like a low-cut shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Been like, Tony! But I didn't. But I met the rest of the band, they signed the stuff, and I was like, hello, how are you? Instead of being like, sup, man? You like my shirt? And it's of like fucking like Nickelback or some shit, I don't know. But
they just get up and punch him in the face.
Pretty much. And so like there was that. But thankfully, since I got VIP entrance, I could put the poster back in my car and come back in. And it was general admission, and it was second row. It was second row, man. And so there was only like 6 or 7 foot from the stage. Like, if I was in front row, I could reach out and like I could like barely graze the stage. Well, so I stood around for like another hour, and the thing that was kind of funny was there was a guy that was standing next to me, and he and I both looked about the same age, and like we both kind of made eye contact at the same time, and you could just tell like both he and I were thinking the same thing. Like, yep, we kind of don't belong here right now. Because he looked like he had a shower in like the past day. He kind of looked like he had a job.
Yeah, I got that feeling when I was at Lollapalooza.
Yeah, because like, but then it was funny because he and I were standing next to each other, and he and I sparked up a good conversation. He was just like, "Oh yeah, well, I've been working and I've been saving off my days so I can see these guys, a couple days and here and that." And we had like adult conversations, not like dirty adult conversations, but we're just like, "Oh yeah, time off. Oh yeah, well this. Well, I'm a teacher. Oh yeah, well I work in the city," and it was just funny. But then we talked, whatever, and then the first band came on, Xandria. And the best way for me to describe Xandria, and I really hate to do this, but they kind of sound like a not as symphonic Nightwish. Now I know any female.
Unfortunate.
Well, and I hate to put it like that because like it feels like every female-fronted metal band is either compared to like Hailstorm or Nightwish, like Arch Enemy. Like those are like the three female bands that everyone compares their stuff to. But
Yeah.
they still kind of had like the more operatic vocals. They still had a pretty epic, and I hate to use that word, but like they still had like a more epic feeling about them. Like even though they didn't have like the synths and they didn't have Thomas from Nightwish like having like the boat with all the synthesizers on it. But they've released, I think, 2 albums so far. They only played, I think, 5 or 6 songs. And I really liked them. Like, they came out and they did really well. And the guy that was next to me, he was a big Xandria fan. And after they were done, they were off stage, I turned to him and I was like, "Holy shit, you were right!" I was like, "Those guys are awesome!" And then, so, like, we sit around a little bit more. And I was like, man, that's pretty crazy. But the other thing, too, I was going to bring up, and I'm not doing this in order, but you know how they play music before a band comes on? Like at a concert? They just play it, like, over the speakers? Freaking, they had a really weird set list. Because it was around, like, the hour mark before Xandria came on, when the crowd was still small. They were playing, like, Sammy Hagar, and they played a couple, like, Van Halen tunes. And then when it got closer to the time, they went between, I could have swore, they went track by track between Iron Maiden's Brave New World and that one album by The Darkness. You remember the band The Darkness?
I don't think I ever listened to them. I remember there were kids at school who did.
Yeah, they had that one song called I Believe in a Thing Called Love. And the dude just sings really high the whole time.
Yeah.
They went, like, track by track. Like, they would play, like, oh, The Wicker Man. And then they would play, like, Get Your Hands Off My Woman. And then they would play, like, The Ghost of the Navigator. And then they would play this tune. And then they'd play... I'm just like, really? This is kind of weird. And then they also played, just a couple,
Guys,
like...
what are you doing?
Yeah, they played a couple, like, 90s one-hit wonders, too. And I'm like, this is really weird. And then...
I mean, there are worse things they could have played.
Yeah, I mean, they could have started blaring, like, Nicki Minaj or some shit, but...
If today was your last day, tomorrow was too late.
That's not Nicki Minaj, but...
Don't even joke about that.
Yeah, well, I mean... dude, I seriously think if they actually played Nickelback, oh, that would have been bad.
If today was your last day.
But we waited about 15 minutes or so, and then Delane came on. And the only way for me to describe Delane, I was explaining this to you a little bit last night, but I'm a little bit more coherent now. The best way for me to describe Delane is jiggly. Because the lead singer, who is also female, she had like this like mesh top that like you could tell that she wasn't wearing like a boobie holder because it like went down the middle, but like where the actual like nip parts and such where it was like black, but like stripes ran down. Basically, if you've ever seen their Stardust video, that's pretty much what she wore in like the actual Stardusty part. But like, she just kept like jumping up and down and like it was just like jumping up and down and like posing and like trying to like rock her hips back, like swivel her hips back and forth. And she kept like smiling, almost looking like she's like flirting with the audience. So it was kind of like I don't know. She just looked like she was in some almost like burlesque show, but there was like a metal band instead of a burlesque group. Like it was weird. So
I don't know how to feel right now.
yeah, and I mean I don't like the phrase pop metal, but the rest of the band they were really good, and she was a good singer. It's just I didn't really care for that kind of music, so I'm just like okay. But they played for about 45 minutes, and then we waited for about half an hour or so. This was about 10 o'clock, and then Sonata Arctica came out, and they played 2 songs off their new album. And the crazy thing about it, Mike, are you a Sonata Arctica fan?
Obviously not to your extent, but I like what I've heard of them.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So you're not like, what's Sonata Arctica?
No,
What?
not like that.
I like Nickelback. That would have been like, really, bro? Anyways, so it was a weird concert because the big news that they dropped not too long ago was not only was this their North American tour of their latest album, Pariah's Child, but it's been 15 years since Ecliptica, their first album, came out. So the big thing that they're doing now is they're going to re-record and remaster the entire Ecliptica album, and they're going to re-release it. Which is pretty cool, because a lot of people say, like, and I'm one of those people that's like, oh, their sound has changed, blah, blah, blah. So now you get to hear, like, new Sonata Arctica perform the old tunes, like in studio. But that's pretty much what the concert was. It was either, like, new songs from, like, their latest album, or it was their first album stuff. There were very few songs from, like, the middle albums. And it was also kind of funny just because I only listened to the newest album a couple times, and I was pretty iffy on it. And so whenever they're like, this is a song from Pariah's Child, I just kind of like nodded in my head a little bit. And then they're like, now we're going back to Ecliptica, and I was like, ah! Oh, I was windmilling, and
Joey just went Super Saiyan right there in the crowd.
Dude, I did. The thing that made me happy was I was surprised at how big of a female fan base Sonata Arctica has. And there's these 3 girls in front of me, and they are under 21 because they had like the X's on their hands, whatever. But they knew like all of the words, and it's really nice to see that, just because I feel like a lot of male metalheads are just like, these girls are here, they're just posers, whatever, they're trying to get with the band. But no, they knew all of the words, and there was one with like really long hair, and sounds gross, but like she was doing windmills too. But like whenever she did windmills, I got like a breeze, so I'm like, oh god, that feels good. Because it was really hot.
Do that more.
But the problem was that
Keep doing that.
during one song, I was windmilling clockwise. She was windmilling counterclockwise, and I got a mouthful of her hair, and I was like, "Bleh!" And she kind of looked at me, and I was like, I'm really sorry. She's like, it's okay. And then we both went back out to rockin'. Once again, another moment in which I wasn't like fully comfortable in a general admission spot is just because there's like 3 really young girls in front of me, and all of them are just like, well, everyone's like pressing up to get to the front, whereas me, I don't really want to press up behind them because, you know, that's just really awkward. And I'd be like, I'm really sorry. But no, they really bounced back and forth with the latest album and the newest album, and they kept going back and forth,
But it was really good. They put on an awesome show, and all the members of the band, they seemed to be really into it. And it was also kind of odd, though, because the lead singer seemed so apathetic to meet me, but when he was on stage, he was all, like, acting crazy. And, like, he was getting really into the music. And then during the song Black Sheep, which one of the lines is live with the black sheep, live with me. And he's like reaching out to the crowd and all this and that, and he's reaching out to the girls in front of me. And they're like, "We love you, Tony!" Like they're yelling or whatever. And then there's me behind him. And I'm just like, just like reaching. And it was pretty great. And Tony grazed my fingertips. And it was pretty awesome. And he made eye contact with me too. So I think we had a moment.
You were like, "Take me with you."
Yeah. I was like, take my breath away, bruh. I'll live with the black sheep. I'll live with you. So, all in all, it was like 90 minutes. Well, 90 minutes, like, to a little bit more than that. Got in my car, drove off, went to your place. We went to Wendy's. Something that blew my mind. You ready for this?
I mean, I am.
Fries.
I was there.
You were there. I had a spicy chicken sandwich, which was delicious. Which may be a guest prop or guest appearance in a certain video later. But I got loaded pulled pork fries, in which it's French fries, cheese. I think there was some bacon on it. Pulled pork, spicy sauce, and they cover it with onions. I'm not an onion guy, but I'm like, you know what? There are way too many good things on this gosh dang fry combination. And it was delicious. And then
That was the cherry on top.
Dude, it really was. It was like the meat cherry. Yeah, man. So, and then we had that. Then we recorded, and then I fell asleep.
Should hopefully see that sometime next week.
Oh yeah? What are we going to see?
I got this weekend relatively free. I should be able to have a new Geekosaurus Mike video up and not like editorial.
Oh yeah? It's not one where it's you for like 15 minutes talking about video games and video gamers and games and such? That'd be pretty crazy. But just lost connection with Mike, but he'll be right back. What I am going to say, though, is that next week, hopefully from my end, I'm currently writing up a review of the Sonata Arctica concert with a couple more jokes sprinkled in and a couple other things like that, so that'll be really cool. And so hopefully next week you will have new content from both Geekosaurus Mike and myself.
It will be the greatest week of your lives.
And you know what? I just watched an entire, season 1 of an anime.
What was your anime called, Joey?
Attack on Titan.
Oh, shit.
And I don't want to ramble about it too much, but I'm going to write a review of that too. It's going to be a new installment on Jonin Jump. Because, to be honest, I have a lot of things to say about it. And I'm not going to be that guy that's going to be like, "Oh, this show sucks." But then there's other people that's just like, Attack on Titan's so awesome. I'm gonna approach it not from a factual standpoint, but just kind of point out the things that people have said and try to do some things like that. Because after I finished the first season, spoilers, overall, not spoilers about the show, but spoilers about my opinion. All in all, I liked it, but I could also see why people wouldn't like it. And I'll talk about those things and I'll address it. Just because I feel like the only thing people know about Attack on Titan is that there's a giant dude, and that's about it. And people fight it.
People fight it with, like, Batman grappling hooks and swords.
Yeah, pretty much. And everyone has really black lines around them. because that's the art style. That's what makes it stand out, supposedly.
Well,
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's what I'm doing. So, Mike, you're talking about this video. Are you going to disclose what the video is?
no.
Oh, dang. Can I guess?
No, you were there.
Can I just take a wild stab at it?
Okay, fine, Joey. It's DC versus Biker Mice on Mars 2 Alpha.
Well, I thought you were doing frickin' Danny Phantom Modern Warfare. You know,
My God. The
By
sheer amount of obsession and swearing that would come from that.
by Infinity Enix. You remember that?
Except Danny Phantom's been redesigned, so he's got all these extraneous belt buckles and zippers everywhere.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, did you see that the trailer for Final Fantasy 15 came out?
No.
Well, it's underwhelming. Could put it to you like that. It's
Actually, I
like,
think I've seen bits of it, and I just, it's basically just character faces.
yep.
They look super realistic, but
I love how the big deal apparently with this Final Fantasy is that it's supposed to be set like modern times, or you're probably going to sing this in the not too distant future.
do you play on the Satellite of Love?
I wish, but I really don't like the fact that their angle and their angle and the biggest thing that's getting all the attention is that it's set in modern times and it looks very realistic. But a game's called Final Fantasy. So I'm like, why are you doing this? It should look, there should be some color. There should not everyone should be like wearing black and have a bunch of unnecessary zippers. I don't know why people have this like infatuation with zippers.
Zippers and belt buckles, man.
It's not like you need to tighten all of those things to keep your pants up. There's one like belt. There's one part that holds your pants up, and it's not like a freaking like camera vest. Those people that used to have like all the rolls of film and they wore the vest so it has like a million pockets. It's not like that. Like, what? Why are people into that?
I mean, the winner of that is obviously Lulu with her entire dress of belts.
Yeah. Only in the front, though.
Oh.
And then it was awkward fur and stuff around the booty area. And I think there was also fur on the bottom of her dress, which doesn't make sense, because I feel like that would get a lot of dust and debris and stuff like that. Of course, then again, it doesn't make sense to keep the potions in her poopies.
We're going to have to rate this podcast PG-13.
When you use the cactar, do you think it ever stabs her in the poopy?
Or stings her in the butt.
It sticks her in the butt, and then if it stings her, in the poopy. Do you think there'd be like a like kind of like a because it let all the air out?
Or she has like an allergic reaction, so they swell up and get even bigger. I'll be in my bunk.
It's your bunk. More like, I'll be in my parents' basement. Yeah. Do you ever think was it the Tonberry one of Lulu's weapons too?
Yeah. You need a Tonberry doll.
You ever think that the Tonberry would use everyone's grudge on Lulu's boobies? I really don't know what that meant, but
so I was just gonna roll with it.
It felt right at the time. I'd like to be the... Okay, you get the point. Her boobs are big. She pulls things out of said boobs.
Or being immature.
I mean, if you really came here to, like, hear, serious discussions, feel like you're looking in the wrong area. But that's okay. It's okay. It's alright.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really?
But yeah, that's pretty much what I did. We recorded. There may or may not be a special guest in the latest Geekosaurus Mike video.
Oh, yes.
And we did record after the Sonata Arctica concert, so that probably explains why I'm even greasier than normal.
You
And
could all hear that over the microphone.
what?
You could all hear how greasy Joey was.
Oh, well, yeah. I was saying, like, they have no basis of greasiness. Yes! But, like, that's why I just look very out of it, and my voice sounds kind of hoarse. I mean, it still sounds hoarse now, but it's fine. It's either I'm sick one week, or I'm recovering from being sick, or I attend a metal concert. I'm just a rambling man, Mike.
It's okay, Joey. That's why I do podcasts.
That's why. You know what? I was thinking about this. One of my reasonings for doing podcasting is because, like, I can wear whatever I want when I podcast. Like, I'm wearing, like, pajama pants, and,
Or you
like...
cannot wear whatever you want.
Oh, shit.
Ladies.
Get that female population.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized my attire for the video that I may or may not be in. And I'm like, I just wear that shit all the time. So, something to look forward to, ladies.
Oh.
Yep. It'll be... Dude, I am really excited for that video, though.
I'm glad. You should all be excited for it, too, and you should all watch it on my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. And watch Danny Phantom video while you're at it.
Because Lord knows that hasn't gotten enough views yet.
Well, you're up to what, like 21,000 now? 22?
Something ridiculous like that.
One of these days you'll get to 22 million. Yeah. And lesser people will be eating your orange peels after you throw it on them.
What?
You know what I mean.
Okay.
Do you know who's going to be opening up for you?
Who's that?
Freaking Chocolate Rain.
Ho-ho!
Yeah.
Chocolate rain. Stay dry and others feel pain.
I was trying to think about how that would fit into the song, so I'm like, Geekosaurus Mike, watch this video and go and like, and then I'm like, nope.
It didn't work, okay?
Yeah.
Tried. We had a little experiment. Didn't work. That happens. It's what improv's all about, you know?
Geekosaurus Mike, a horizontal cut is called a dike. That's all I got.
Fair enough.
See? So, I think it's time we gotta wrap this bad boy up. It's a shorter podcast, but guess what? Next week, you get the old one, too. You get Joe Miraquai, bap! And then you got Geekosaurus Mike, bap! And it's gonna be great.
Mama said knock you out.
Yeah, don't call it
I
a
was
comeback.
like, why? That seems pretty violent. Have you been off? Are you off the meds? Did you forget your Thorazine? I don't know why I turned Scottish at the end there.
Gotcha. But yeah, look forward to that. It's going to be an awesome time. So, Mike, got any closing remarks?
If you get a chance to go to metal concerts, do it.
Hell yeah, and I agree with that, folks. That wraps it up for this week of Mike Joe. I almost called it Geekosaurus Mike. That
I'm
wraps.
taking over.
Yeah. That wraps it up for MikeJoeSoft. I'm Joey Mason.
I'm Mike Fenton.
Powering down.